Hard-working people don't make enough. And I told Paul Ryan that story. He was flummoxed. And then he says to me, well, are you for mandating wages? Someone's got to get money in their pockets, and it doesn't seem like the free market's doing it. Perhaps we need law, and isn't that what Pope Frank says? The role of government is to ensure that justice is done. Justice is not being done for all. And then there's Jason. Jason is this extremely wealthy entrepreneur who, at the age of 35, somebody just geniuses this way, he has created 3 companies. He was about to sell his 3rd company when I met him. He pays a living wage for all his people. He lives in the San Diego area. He says it's really expensive, it's really hard to do, but you know what? He does it. But what was starting to make him upset was that he began to realize that his taxes were going to fund his competitors, because his competitors pay low wages. Paying low wages, and their people, their employees, go and use food stamps, safety net, Medi-Cal, all the other benefits. And the employer can charge lower fees because they're paying lower wages. And Jason began to realize his taxes were funding his competitors. And he thought his competitors should have to pay the true cost of doing business. Well, I told Paul Ryan that story, and he had no idea how to respond. Now, I believe that when you tell a story that flummoxes someone who is so quick with words, he's going to have to think about that going forward. He's going to have to think about what is the right thing to do. So I urge you to let your hearts be touched by these stories, but not just for yourselves, but for the sharing of them. Now, the comment was made, okay, we have to share it to make power. Yeah, but where are you doing it? I'm advocating what I'm calling grocery store missionary work. We, as a nation, do not talk to each other about anything that matters. I do all this media stuff now, and they send a card to you. So a few weeks ago, I had 3 different media appearances during a 1-week period, or maybe it was 10 days, I forget. But the first one, that I was talking to drivers, it's always interesting. And the guy says to me, you know, I really care about politics. I like to know what the truth is. So I listen to Fox News. Good luck. A couple of days later, I'm in the car and I'm talking to the guy, and he says practically the same thing. He says, you know, I keep an eye on politics, and I really care about what's happening. I like to know the truth. So I listen to MSNBC. Okay, I do that sometimes also. A few days after that, I was going to another interview, and the guy says the same thing. I care about politics, so I want to know what's happening. I listen to CNN. And then I realized I care about politics. I want to know the truth. I listen to PBS and NPR. We are as siloed as can be. I couldn't stand to listen to Fox News. It would give me a reaction, an allergic reaction. PBS is my place. But if we do not have a way of expanding the conversation, we have no way of moving forward together. So I'm encouraging you all to walk towards trouble in the grocery store line. Because if you also notice that we hardly ever stand in line anyplace, we do everything online. grocery store, so far, that seems to be the only place where I gather with diverse people. So I've started saying to the person in front of me or the person behind me, ooh, I'm really worried about immigration reform. But you know what I've discovered? Is people have thought about it. But nobody ever asks. And so then there's a conversation that ensues. Now the benefit of doing it in the grocery store is that if you get into a bad conversation, it won't last too long. But a good conversation can be enriching. And you never know what can happen because of it. We, the people, have got to reach out and rediscover community in a broader perspective. That is the challenge that we're facing. So we are called to share the stories we know of people who break our hearts, and then to talk about the consequences of that policy. We people of faith are called to have a heart for the 100%. There's room for everyone in our care. But we have a heart for the 100% so that those we would like to leave out are woven in, brought in, and we too are changed in the process. It is as Yahweh, God, says in Exodus, I love the piece in Exodus, where God calls to Moses from the burning bush and says, I have indeed seen the misery of my people. I have heard them crying for help on account of their taskmasters. Yes, I am well aware of their suffering, and I have come to rescue them. God speaks that through us, through all of us. It is God's living in us, breaking open our hearts, making us the witness for the 100%. It is through us, I think, that God comes to be in relationship to those who are oppressed by a taskmaster. We are called to be the bush, to let God flame up in our lives and be not afraid. Because as long as we are faithful, we won't be destroyed. Remember that part of the story? The bush is not destroyed. That's the challenge. To live without fear, to respond to the cry of the poor, the oppressed, the left out, the alienated, the marginalized, the voted off the island. And in that process, we bring hope. Hope cannot be generated by ourselves. I've discovered I cannot go off and generate hope. I'm feeling a little down, I think I'll go generate some hope. Thank you very much. Hope is a communal virtue that can only be done together. At arduous meetings like this, where you all deserve medals for endurance, I think. I can't believe all the work you've done. But it generates hope. It generates hope because you know you're not alone. You're connected. We're together. And while I do this work as a person of faith, where we meet societally is in the Constitution. So while my faith is at the heart of what I do, what I can expect of everyone is not faith, but it's commitment to the Constitution. But you know what? The best of our Constitution, the preamble, is the best of our faith. We, the people of the United States, politicians, we the citizens. It says we the people, all of us together, forming a more perfect union, establishing justice, ensuring domestic tranquility, providing for the common defense, promoting the general welfare, and securing the blessings of liberty to ourselves. But remember this, and our posterity. That's the best form we are. So when you're doing grocery store missionary work, somebody might ask you, well, why do you care about that? Be sure to talk to them about faith, but say where we meet is the Constitution. That is the inclusive, universal document that governs our very pluralistic society. And we fumble forward to do the best we can. So I urge you, stay connected. Do what you're called to do. Trust, though, that you can hear where you're called. But don't demand everybody does it your way, okay? Everyone has a piece to make this happen, to form a more perfect union, to be God alive in our world. But everyone has a different way to do it. We, the people, we people of faith, need everyone's contribution. Now, one of the challenges for the progressive, liberal, activist community is we think everybody ought to do my thing. Sure, nobody here would ever do that, but sometimes I suffer from that. But the fact is, we just need everybody to do one thing, and then we'll all get covered. Do the thing you're called to, and rejoice that other people are doing their part. Then everyone's